Hey everyone, today we're checking out the GravaStar P5 Sirius earbuds. These retail for $69 with one case to $139 for a set with 3 cases. They generally go on sale a bit cheaper though. Now you're probably thinking, why am I getting 3 cases with one earbud? Well, that's the standout feature if you couldn't tell. It's the interchangeable cases. They're slick, they're futuristic, they're unique, but it's probably not worth it if the actual earbuds are no good. So I'll be covering all the features here today, as well as comparing them to some other similar earbuds. But let's start with the coolest feature, of course, the interchangeable cases. Now I got the triple combo pack with the defense armor, the mecha armor, and crystal armor. All of these are just shells, and the actual compartment the earbuds stay in is separate with the battery in it. You do have to use one of the cases though, otherwise the earbuds will never disconnect, because closing the lid of the shells will turn the earbuds off. And it's really easy to insert them into the case, whack it in, screw it in to lock it in place. The screw is super easy to lock in. I just use my fingernail and that works fine. All pairs also include a metal necklace you can attach to all the buds. Some are a little bit easier to attach than others, but you can attach it to all the cases. Now the defense armor, just like the name implies, it's like actual armor. It's made from zinc alloy. I don't think armor's made from that, but it feels very armor-like, and it weighs in at just over 50 grams, where the other 2 cases are 20 grams, since they're made from much lighter hard plastics. They all have a button mechanism to open the lid of the case, and the defense armor, with the extra weight from the zinc alloy, it really flicks out fast. Not only will it defend you and your earbuds, it's a weapon. That thing, you can deal some serious damage. And then combine that, having it on the necklace, you just wail that thing around. Now you've got a complete defense and attack system. But it's not just the defense armor cases, the rest of them are really cool. The mecha case shows the indicator light in a pretty unique way. And the crystal case just looks cool. It looks like a cool, like blue crystal design thing. And with that indicator light, if you want to just turn it on, you can just press the button on the bottom of the case and it'll cycle through a few colors. Double click to turn it off. Don't really know what that use is for. You just want to have the light on, but the main use of the indicator light is that it will indicate red when the case is below 30% and green when it's above that. So after seeing these buds, I was kind of like, it's a bit gimmicky, and like it is, but it's honestly pretty cool. All the cases are unique. They've obviously put a lot of thought into the design, and it is actually quite nice to just change a case without having to buy like a completely new earbud. There's been countless times, obviously I review earbuds, I got plenty. I would buy like a certain color of an earbud, and then like a week later, I'm like, I wish I got the white. And I'm like, no, you've just gotten used to the color. But GravaStar, they fixed that problem. You get sick of a certain case, chuck them in another one. Get sick of that, chuck them in another one. You just keep going. Now wrapping up the case section here, the actual size of the case, it's pretty compact. The defense armor is the smallest, and here it is compared to the AirPods 3 case for a bit of reference. Pretty decent considering the AirPods 3 is one of the smallest cases out there. The battery life is pretty solid here as well. You get 8 hours from the buds, 40 hours in total with the case. And in my test, I actually got 8 hours and 47 minutes at 70% volume, tested on an iPhone XS. So solid stuff there. Just keep in mind, there is no fast charging here and no wireless charging. All right, that's enough talking about the case. Let's move on to the earbuds, and starting with how they actually fit. And as you've probably seen, these are a semi-in-ear fit, so these don't have an ear tip. It's like AirPods, and it's not just like AirPods. Like, I think GravaStar has basically just taken the ergonomics of the AirPods 3 and just chucked it on their own stem. Not complaining, because the AirPods 3 fit me really well. I know they don't fit everyone that well. Ear canals are all different, but for me, they stay in basically the exact same as the AirPods 3. I can use these buds when doing anything, any kind of training, running. It's very challenging to get these earbuds out of my ears, and the actual comfort is very solid as well. I can wear them for hours with no issues at all. And they also have an IPX4 water resistant rating, so fine for sweat, splashes of water, use in the rain, you just can't submerge the buds in water. Now let's talk about controls. Sensitivity here is great. It just took me a bit of time to get used to where to tap, which is just on top of the stem, but because it's kind of like a rectangle shape, it took me a couple goes and then I got it. And here are all the controls, so you can see, thankfully we have everything here: play, pause, skipping tracks forward and back, as well as volume up and down. So really solid stuff with the controls. Just keep in mind, there's no any detection to auto pause and play your music, and no app customization as well. Now connectivity, we have the Qualcomm 3046 chip here with SBC, AAC, and aptX for you Android users. And these buds also have multi-point connection, so this means you can have 2 devices connected to the earbuds at the same time. But not only that, these are the first bud that I've ever tested with multi-point connection where you don't have to pause playback on one device before you play it on your other device. So for example, I've got it connected to my iPhone and my MacBook. If I'm watching a video on my MacBook, all I need to do is go to Spotify on my phone, press play, it'll pause on my computer, and start playing on my phone. No multi-point connection bud I've ever tested has done this, and it's a bit jittery when it changes, but it works really well. Nice stuff, GravaStar. And if you want to use one earbud while you leave the other in the case, that works fine. And it also works in mono mode, so if you're using just one earbud, you're gonna hear both the left and right audio channels. So you don't miss any of the music that you're listening to if you just got one earbud in. Now, video latency, watching movies, no issues at all. These also have a low latency gaming mode. Here's what I got on my test on both iOS and Android. Generally, 400 milliseconds, good for casual games. You want to get around 200 milliseconds if you're into fast reaction games like shooters. But now let's head on outside and see what the call quality is like. All right, so I'm currently recording off my iPhone 12 Pro microphone, so you can get a rough idea of the noise going on around me right now. All right, and here is the call quality of the GravaStar Sirius P5. It is raining right now, so I'm getting wet. I want to go inside. Hopefully you can hear my voice well, and the noise behind me is getting blocked out. And just for a bit of reference, here's the call quality of the AirPods 3, known to have a pretty solid microphone. So if the P5 can compare, then we're all good. All right, before we talk about what's most important, sound quality, if you're enjoying the video, you're having a good time here, please chuck a like down there. It really does help the video out. Now, starting with volume here, for a semi-in-ear bud, they need to go loud because they're not going to be blocking out a lot of sound around you since they don't have ear tips. And these do easily go loud enough. The last 2 clicks, that's when you're in kind of hearing loss territory. You wouldn't want to venture above 90% volume on these. But keep in mind, if you want to go to 100%, there is a bit of distortion on the last 2 clicks, but you don't really want to venture that high, to be honest. Now, onto the sound quality itself. For a half in-ear fit, it's pretty good. Just don't expect sound quality that comes close to a bud that has an ear tip. The reason I say this, everyone always asks me to compare half in-ear buds to a bud with an ear tip. The ear tip's always gonna sound better. They're gonna have way more bass. It's gonna have a more full sound. So just keep that in mind. Keep the expectations leveled out here. Now, the biggest benefit of most half in-ear fits is that you get a pretty wide soundstage, and that's the case for the P5 here. It's a pretty open sound, so you're able to hear things a little bit further away and a little bit wider than a more closed-in in-ear bud might have. The bass response here is punchy. You get enough mid-bass. I was honestly hoping for just a little bit more mid-bass. Sub-bass is lacking, but this is a half in-ear bud. You're not really gonna get much sub bass at all with any bud with this kind of design. Like, it's still there, like you can hear it, but you're not gonna get like deep subwoofer feel that you do get with a bud that has an ear tip. The mid-range here, I would say, is a standout. Vocals that are at the forefront, they never get lost. This is the same with instrumentation. The only real lackluster thing here is the treble. It's boosted enough, but it lacks sparkle and detail, and it does get a little bit messy when you venture above about 75% volume. The instrument separation, being able to pick out your vocals and all the other instrumentation, it gets a bit messy at those high volumes. Now, to explain the sound a bit further, let's run through some quick comparisons. I did compare the AirPods 3 throughout the video, so I'll quickly compare them, but it's no contest. Like the AirPods 3, they're obviously more expensive. They're just in a league of their own. They're easily the best sound quality with the half in-ear fit. They're one of the few half in-ear fits that actually give you a decent amount of sub bass, and you just overall get very nice sound quality. So not really a fair comparison there. But now compared to a bit of a cheaper bud, the Soundpeats Air 3 liner buds, they have quite a few, but I'll just compare to the Air 3. This is a closer comparison, but overall the win in sound quality does go to the Air 3. Mainly with the mid bass, there's a lot more, a little bit of extra sub bass. Vocals are very similar, but the treble is just a bit nicer, a bit of extra sparkle and detail on the Air 3. But at the end of the day, the main selling point of the P5 are the interchangeable cases, and they've done them really well. And it's honestly great to see a bit of a unique twist in the rather stale true wireless market. But if you want to check out more half-in earbuds, be sure to check out this video here. In the meantime, stay picky. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.